Guys, so we are here we are at Kibbutz Kaiafa, where David slew Goliath, just over there. But I thought I'd show something interesting we have here for you at Kibbutz Kaiafa. And so here we have what would have been an early Israelite cultic site. There is a standing stone you see right in the middle there, and there's been an altar here, and it is near an ancient city gate. So a lot of people say that in Christianity it's an illegitimate religion because Jesus changed the laws. Catholicism does not keep kosher law, for example. However, people forget that Samuel did the same thing, as did Elijah, and that under Samuel, that's when these things started happening, and this was legitimate under the prophet Samuel. The prophet Elijah did the same thing at Mount Carmel, set up an altar. Jewish rabbis comment on what Elijah says when he says, "By this, let them know by your command I have done this." Namely, he sets up an altar outside of Jerusalem. And even in this time, they knew, according to the Bible, that there should only be one place. They weren't sure where it was, but they knew there should be only one place of sacrifice. Prior to that, it was at Shiloh. But under Samuel, they started sacrificing everywhere, at least for a time. Let me just show you briefly. Some of the other things. So how do we know this? So this is also the place where David slew Goliath. This is over that ridge is where Saul would have watched David have that great victory. But how do we know this is the place? So for starters, there are two city gates here. One is on the other side of the city wall of the ancient tell. Well, actually, this is not a tell, this is a cupboard. It's only one layer. It only dates really from the Iron Age. So we know there's one gate from the Iron Age, but there's another gate. There's some controversy here. So this is a 4-room, 4-chamber city gate, which is indicative of Israelite Judean architecture at the time. 6-chamber gates are also a thing. Here you see the line. So this is above here. It's reconstruction. Down here is the original. So they found a lot of... So right here, there is a drainage ditch, which is definitely Iron Age. Oh, the drainage ditch over here is Persian. And Israel Finkelstein, who's a famous minimalist, in his interpretation of biblical archaeology, says this whole site is Persian. And he says that this is not an Iron Age gate because this doorpost, cannot be associated with this wall because of look how far apart they are. What he did not take into account, however, is that there could have been a wooden doorpost right there. And Yossi Garfinkel, who excavated the site, thinks otherwise. Also, if you look elsewhere, on the other side, you see a room that's right attached to the wall. That is extremely significant. So, one of the distinctive features of Judean architecture, specifically Judahite, this is how we know it's associated with Jerusalem and the king of Judah, is because that is common Judean style of architecture. There's some in the north, but it's mostly in the south. And here and at Beersheba and other sites, they all surround one city that seems to be the center of the kingdom, Jerusalem, and it only dates, and we know from Kibbutz Kaiafa, because of how it wasn't so long, it only dates to the 10th century BCE. That is the time of King David and King Solomon. So even minimalists today no longer really challenge the fact that there was a kingdom of David, there was a kingdom of King Solomon. There is debate as to whether or not it was a united monarchy over all of Israel and what the nature was. But did Solomon and David exist? Absolutely. Anyway, God bless. Have a great day. If you ever get a chance to check out Kibbutz Kaiafa, please do so. And please check out an SSPX Society of St. Pius X Church. In real life, if you ever get the chance, God bless.